NFC North Roundtable Week 1 preview. Here we go. And since last week, we've had a major development within the division. Micah Parsons joining the Green Bay Packers, apparently pregnant because he got an epidural. However, we're going to discuss it for sure. We also have to discuss two interdivision matchups: Chicago Bears, Monday Night Football. Also, Packers, Lions, the whole thing. I can't wait for this. This is going to be a great show. Let me bring in the panelists. Fellas, what an exciting week. Bass, I know you're super excited. I watched your live stream in your Jeep. Pretty cool, man. You did a good job with that one. Nick, how you doing, brother? One bar dose. Fellas, here we are, week 1, man. Here we go. All right, man. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Bass, let's talk about Micah Parsons, because last week you were pretty pessimistic. And I told you before we went live, I said, listen, I get it. We don't necessarily trust the dog on Twitter, but try not to be a wet blanket about this one. I know you don't think it's going to happen. You did your best. You did do your best. But ultimately, guess what happened? Micah Parsons did become a Packer. This is the most un-Packer move of all time. They do not do these things. 2 first-round picks, sent over Kenny Clark as well. Talk to me, brother. How were you feeling in that moment when it went down? What was the shock level for you?
Yeah, it's crazy because, like you said, don't be a wet blanket around it. But you also mentioned, like, hey, this is not what the Packers do. And that's kind of where my mind was at. Like, it's not what the Packers do. And shout out Ricky Scoops, man. You got it. You got it. And then he rode off into the sunset. I was like, I'm sorry for ever doubting you, man. I'm sorry. Right. No, but to be honest, like, leading up to Thursday, I did have one connect that he didn't have any connections with Ricky Scoops. He's actually a Packers guy. He has some connects with the organization. And earlier in the week, he was like, okay, 70% chance this happens. So I'm taking that with a grain of salt, going, okay, well, if he's saying 70%, I can probably think of like half of that. So like 35%. Okay, there's buzz. Like, there's a chance. Then Thursday comes around and we keep hearing more and more buzz, and the Cowboys are open to hearing offers. We're like, okay, this thing is getting more traction. So I messaged my guy again. He goes, I'm up to 80%. And that was like 3 hours before it actually happened. And I was like, asking him, I was like, do you think it gets done? Like, if it does, do you think it gets done soon? He's like, yeah, before Monday, which it happened obviously that Thursday night, which is absolutely insane. When it happened, I mean, I just remember checking my phone and I'm like I just left my house and I'm like, dude, of course, like this is classic, right? Something huge like this would happen the moment I leave. But I had to keep checking Twitter. Like I thought like 5 separate times. I was like, nah, this is a troll account. You know, the fake Ian Rappaports, the fake Adam Schefters that you see all the time with those trolls news things. But, you know, I had to keep checking it. And then finally, you know, found out this is true. This is absolutely true. And it's insane. I mean, the amount that it's changed in terms of the Green Bay Packers in the past year. Like, if 5 years ago you told me we'd make a trade for a superstar, 2 first-round picks, and a starting defensive player, pay that player $188 million, then also draft a wide receiver in the first round, I would laugh at you. Like, I would honestly laugh at you. So, you know, the Packers are looking at this as a window right now. And Micah Parsons, the first 3 year of his contract in terms of the salary cap hits, showcase this, that, you know, this is their window, right, to win Super Bowls and bring the Lombardi back to Green Bay since for the first time since 2010. So, you know, I'm ecstatic about it. I'm sure we'll dive down into you already talked about it. You know, Micah Parsons could be pregnant. I'm sure we'll talk about the injury news. I would love to give my opinion on that. We'll do that here in a bit. But man, I'm super hype. I think this just takes the Packers defense, which I was already hype on, to like the upper echelon level, where it's like, okay, they could be the best defense in the league. Like 100% they could. And I don't think that's a far stretch of the imagination. I'm so ecstatic that Parsons is here.
I was pretty jealous that it happened when we weren't on air. If we were live, could you imagine if we were live when that went down, the reactions that would happen here?
A day late. I mean, or a day early. A day early. Yeah. It was at that time too.
I know.
Like right around that time. Like, it was close.
I know it was. I was like, oh man, missed opportunity. All right. Everybody in the division, we did our record predictions last week, and everybody said to a T, Parsons adds at least 1 win to their predictions. So, One Bar, I know your prediction Obviously, now that changes, I assume, still with Parsons being there. What was your reaction when it went down? Be honest with us. Were you a little nervous, or how'd that feel?
Right when it goes down, I'm like, I got to go check out Baz. He's got to be live. And sure enough, the dude's sitting in his freaking car. I even throw in the comments, hey, enjoy this, baby. I mean, how can you not be excited about that? As a Vikings fan, yeah, of course. I mean, the Packers got better. That's the end game. Packers got better. They added one of the best defensive players in the league to their roster. I'm not looking forward to facing this dude twice a year. I mean, if you're a Packer fan, like I said, you got to love it. But like the compensation is a big question mark. I'm surprised the Packers didn't give up more. That said, I don't think the Cowboys got fleeced by any means. So it's a clear win for the Packers. Packers fans, regarding the back injury, everything, I mean, rightfully so. I do the same thing. You're going to flip it. It's not a big deal. It's this, that. They knew about it, whatever. To me, it's a little bit of a concern, but so Packers got better. That's number one. The flip side of that is, as a Vikings fan, I mean, I kind of love it because it puts a ton of pressure on the Packers. I mean, the Packers are all in. Like Baz said, wide receiver in round one. They're giving up first-round picks. They're giving up Kenny Clark. They're all in. Pressure is on the Packers. You got to win the Super Bowl. There is no excuses. You have to win the Super Bowl, and if you don't, it's a complete flop and it's a complete failure. That's what it comes down to. And even with this trade, even though it makes them better, I still think this Packers, how well they do, still comes down to Jordan Love. Like if Micah Parsons goes out and has 20 sacks this year and Jordan Love doesn't live up to his expectations, what he could be, what he should be, it doesn't matter because they're not going to go. I still think it comes down to Jordan Love. Did the Packers get better? Absolutely. But I still think it comes back to Love. And one thing I'll say, final, Kenny Clark, I'm sure, is just like Packers fans, like, whatever, take him, man. We got Micah freaking Parsons. That dude tore us a new one every time we played him. I'm not sad to see Kenny Clark go.
Easy Does It says locker room got worse, though. I don't understand this comment. I don't think Parsons is a malcontent.
We didn't take Jerry
whatsoever.
Jones. We didn't take Jerry Jones, so we're good.
Yeah. I don't understand. I really don't. And it's all fan bases always do this, but if they got the player, there wouldn't be a peep about anything in the locker room. I guarantee that. Dose, brother, how did you feel about this? You had the Packers basically trashed this year. So, now that they got Parsons, it's fair to revise what you had said last week, just to kind of save your bacon. But how did you feel about this whole thing when it went down?
Yeah, I was shocked. I thought it was fake, honestly. So I wasn't home. So when it popped up, I was like, okay, something's fake here. But then I looked at it again. I was like, oh, snap, this is actually going down. I think I was going to text Bass, but something popped up. I was going to text him immediately. I don't know what I was going to say. I don't know what it was. I think it was a good thing because I had the same reaction I think One Bar did. This is a big positive for the Packers. And then even after seeing what they ended up giving up, I still felt this is a good move for the Packers. And I think what Bass laid out last week, it's exactly how it lined up for them. So it makes so much sense. Like giving up 2 first-round picks that they're hoping are going to be back end of the first round just seems crazy to me. It's like, Cowboys, why would you accept that? That's how I'm thinking. I'm like, this is nuts. But from the Packers side, it's like, this is super smart. We don't need these 2 first-round picks. We're not doing that well in the first round anyway. And if there's like a positional group where we've invested like crazy and we're not getting seemingly what we want, it's that position. So forget the draft pick. Let's not go back down that well. Let's just trade for the guy. And the big question I had before the deal got done was like, how are they going to afford this? I didn't realize how many guys, they had like dudes getting paid on the D line. I'm like, who are the Packers paying? Like, I don't know their caps. Like, are they paying anybody? It turned out they were paying some dudes and they were on the D line, and Kenny Clark was a big one. So the fact that they threw Kenny Clark into that, I don't know the exact financials. Bass can definitely enlighten us more on that, but I don't know exactly like how much if they took on some of that or what it was. But ultimately, it was like you got out of that contract. The guy's pressure's cut in half last season, and you got Micah. So while he's not the same amount, it's like 2 times it. It just feels like it was the perfect path to making this work for the Green Bay Packers. So I think this was a good move for them. I think I said, if they got Micah, they'd go like 8 or 9 wins. I am at 7. I still feel pretty good about that. I'm gonna be honest with you. But what I feel great about is the Vikings are now winning 3 games. I mean, that's the real story of all of this that we didn't talk about.
I forgot about that part of it.
We can go back, dude, if you have to. You know what I mean? Like the Vikings are officially done. But no, I think this was a good move for the Packers. I think this was played out very smartly. So good move, Packers.
I totally forgot that somehow the Vikings went from like 10 wins to 3 with a Micah Parsons trade. So that's I'm glad that you brought that one back up for sure. All right. Nick, I know that you had some funny reactions in the group chat. Donald Trump brought some reactions. I don't know. Those are NSFW. Either way, what were your reactions, Nick?
Which reaction do you want first?
Let's get that Trump reaction. Let's do it.
When I saw the trade, I said, wow, that's a big trade. That's a big guy going to the Green Bay Packers. But the Packers, they gave up their future. The future of Green Bay is in big, big trouble. They lost 2 first-round picks in Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark, he's a big guy up the middle for that team. They got no one to stop the run now. I'm not scared of them. The crooked Jerry Jones of the world might have made a good move over here, but that's okay. All right, you want my real reaction now?
Yeah,
that was a Trump one. Okay.
That was good.
Okay. Honestly, like when I saw the trade, my first reaction to gotta go see what Bass is doing. And then I was like, oh shit, now I'm in trouble too. So when, you didn't see the initial numbers at first, and I'm like, wow, he got paid 47.5 million per year, something like that.
We'll talk about it, but it comes down to less. But yeah, generally that was like the initial report.
Yeah. So like, right there, I was like, okay, like that's a lot of money. It's still probably more than 40 million, right, Baz? Like,
yes, yeah.
Okay, so that's a lot of freaking dough. That being said, I think that Parsons deserved to get paid. He's a talented player. But the more I've like looked at him, I'm like, okay, he's definitely a quarterback pressure guy, 10 plus sacks per year, 4-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All Pro. He's got it. Everything is said and done. This guy knows how to get after the quarterback. But against the run, I was looking at his PFF numbers, and he's not spectacular, but he's not terrible against it either. You would think for a guy that you give up 2 first-rounders, Kenny Clark, who is good at stopping the run and your best interior defensive lineman, you would get a guy they gave up the house. On top of it, too, I was shocked that they took on all that dead cap from Kenny Clark. So that was like, holy moly, that's a big move by Green Bay. But One Bar said it best. This is your win now move. So the Packers went out. They got a top player, obviously, but they're mortgaging their future. They have a lot of money tied up in it, and the cap will go up year over year. Baz, I give you that. Like, they'll be able to afford guys eventually. But the next 2 seasons, I don't know how they're going to be able to, afford anything. I think the Packers got better. I said the Packers would get 3 wins more with Parsons, but that was before I learned that Kenny Clark was a part of the deal. So I'm sticking with 2 more wins, and I got the Packers being 10-7, just like the Bears. I think it's going to be those 2 right there. It depends on if everyone can stay healthy. And I was shocked that the Packers even made the trade, knowing that he had a bad back, because it sounds like he's questionable still for week 1. But I was kind of shocked that Green Bay was willing to make that trade, and with the cap and with the top player and 2 first-round picks, knowing that he was hurt. Because the Bears a couple years ago, for the Bears fans out in the chat, Larry Ogunjobi, we were going to bring him in and he'd be a big part of the rebuild, but we didn't end up taking him because we discovered he had back issues as well. And we made that mistake with Tevin Jenkins. Ryan Poles did not draft Tevin Jenkins. Ryan Pace did. But I was a little shocked by that. I mean, Green Bay for sure got better, but he's got to, hopefully he stays healthy, and that's going to be the big factor in this entire situation.
Bass, let's talk about that back injury, because it was like all the jubilation came out, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he needs an epidural and he's questionable, and now he's going to play limited snaps. Like, what's actually going on there?
Well, what's actually going on is he's playing Sunday. Now, the snap count, I can't speak for that. I don't know. I can't tell the future, but I would be highly, highly, highly shocked if he didn't play Sunday. And when those reports came out, and I did a little bit more research and just started to dive down into the medical standpoint of that, it just really seemed like damage control on the Dallas end. The report was initially put out by the Dallas doctor. And here's the thing about the Packers and Doc McKenzie. A lot of players that suffer back injuries and neck injuries go to Green Bay to see Doc McKenzie. Like, he is one of the most thorough doctors in the entire NFL. And anytime you look at the Packers in terms of history of neck or back injuries, you'll see they do not play around with that. We saw Nick Collins, Jermichael Finley both suffer career-ending injuries and never play again. This was not something that was hidden. This was not something that, oh my gosh, Jerry Jones pulled one on the Green Bay Packers at all. Like, there's no way that's the case. This was in a physical. This was cleared, and the Packers were comfortable with it. That's as much as I need to hear. And then when I saw the report about, the L4, L5 facet joints and the epidural, it's not even a true epidural. Like, that goes into your nerve. That's not even what Micah Parsons would be receiving. Facet joint injections are completely different. And the facet joint sprain is probably just an attempt describing degenerative changes, which is very common in athletes. I'd be willing to bet that this sort of thing happens in athletes a lot, and we just don't hear about it. But we did with this because it's Parsons and because of this massive trade. And even with an epidural injection, you don't just take one before the game. That's something you have done multiple days prior under an X-ray guidance by a specialist, and it takes multiple days to take effect. So we wouldn't see him out here practicing in pads today hitting the sled if he just had an epidural injection, which you would have to have earlier in the week. I think it's all fluff. I think he has maybe a little bit of back pain. I would be surprised to find an NFL player that doesn't have some type of pain. This is what I'm trying to say here.
This seems far-fetched, but I'm going to throw it out there anyways. He was missing all of those practices in Dallas because of a back injury, right?
Sure.
The moment that he signs, he's obviously going to play. I wonder if there's any part of this that's like them playing it up like, hey, see, he really did have a back injury. Like he was missing time and, you know, all these things just so he doesn't get fined.
That's how I feel. I really don't see it as like, oh, he's faking it completely. Like I'm sure there's prednisone, oral prednisone. It's the only type you can take. It's a steroid that he may be taking to help with the facet joint sprains. That's a common thing. It's not a Matthew Stafford situation where it's something within his nerve, right? Like that's a bigger problem here. I could totally see that kind of happening where it's like, okay, we're kind of just saying, hey, yeah, he had this, so there's no fine and whatnot. But here's the thing, like before a contract, I don't blame him at all if he had any bit of back pain going, yeah, why would I be practicing without a contract? Like this could technically get worse. It's, you know, it's your back, like anything could happen there. So yeah, it's interesting, but to me, it just seemed like a lot of damage control.
All right. Well, I think we put a nice little bow on that trade. The rest of the division thinks that there's at least 2 wins added because of this move. I know that Bass is elated. Loved watching that live. It sounds like we all went straight to one. All right. Well, what's his reaction? We were all in the chat, man, ready to roll. So it was good to see that you went live for sure. Packers fans, here you go. It's all in, man. It really is all in, and we'll see what ends up happening. But now it's time to preview the games. And the first game that we are going to preview is actually the Lions at the Packers. That's the Sunday game. Obviously, we know that the Vikings and the Bears play on Monday Night Football. So here's how we're going to do this. We're going to go through, give some keys to the game, give some, you know, just some analysis on what we think without giving a prediction of who's going to win. Then we will circle back and give our actual score predictions, why we believe that that's going to happen. And that will be a whole different segment. So we're going to start first with the members who are not involved in this game and get their thoughts on it. So Nick, we're going to start with you. We've got the Lions at the Packers week 1. What are your thoughts on this game? What are the things that you're looking for? And ultimately, what are the things that you are excited about? Well,
first things first. Big matchup. Knowing, and Baz sounds very confident in it. It sounds like it's happening. And seeing how Micah Parsons plays against Detroit. Really good matchup at home. Going to be electric. It's funny because that's where Khalil Mack's first game as a Bear was Lambeau Field. And it was electric there too. You're going to have also the Lions fans travel really well. So expect a super intense atmosphere because the Packers have become a legitimate problem now with Parsons in the NFC North. So I'm looking out for Parsons to see how he adjusts, especially to a new defense. Along with that, too, I'm looking forward to seeing how Jordan Love plays, especially, you know, I don't think Baz, correct me if I'm wrong, if he hasn't played because of that thumb injury all preseason, right? Or did he play in the last game?
He played in the first game and he's full participant. He's fine. The thumb's good.
Yeah. So like, I'm interested to see how he does considering he hasn't played in a minute. And also just how the wide receiver room is in Green Bay. Like they've made a ton of changes there too. So how that offense adapts going against Detroit, and Detroit's the big factor too, because now they don't have Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn. So how's the offense and defense going to look with Dan Campbell leading the way for both sides of the ball? Jared Goff, how is he going to do without Ben Johnson? How is Brown going to do without Ben Johnson? I want to see how Detroit looks as a whole, because at first during the preseason, we're like, oh, looks like they're missing him. And then they progress as time went on. So what I'm looking for on the Green Bay side of the ball is how Parsons plays, how Love plays. That's going to be exciting for us because that kind of determines that's a lot of the Packers' money is invested. And then on the defensive side of the ball for the Lions, how they do without Aaron Glenn. So it's going to be a good matchup. Did we say we want to do scores or no? Not yet.
Not scores. We'll do scores here in a bit. We'll give our predictions in a bit. Just want to talk a little bit about the game, some of the things we're looking forward to and matchups and whatnot.
Yeah, it's going to be electric to say the least. I think it's awesome that the NFL put both NFC North matchups week 1. I think it was pretty sweet. So I'm excited. I'm excited to watch that game because I can actually watch it, enjoy it, and take back for next week's episode because we play on Monday night. So excited to watch that. That's my game of the weekend for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know how you guys feel personally. One bar, I mean, you guys are in the same exact scenario here where you guys are obviously playing on Monday Night Football against a division foe. I'm a 49er fan. They're playing week 1 against Seattle. I am not personally a big fan of in-division games week 1. I feel like week 1, you're just starting to get your feet wet. I would prefer that it's at least week 2, probably even week 3 or later. But such is life. This is what's going on now in the NFL. One bar, I will ask you, what are your thoughts about in-division games week 1? Are you a fan of them? Do you dislike them? And then just give me some of your thoughts on the game.
No, I'm not a fan of anything can happen week 1. There could be the craziest upsets week 1. So like to put this pressure right out of the gate. I mean, it's fun, but I am not a fan of them whatsoever. But hey, we got 2 of them. We're going to deal with them. And when it comes to the Lions Packers, I can't wait. I'm excited as hell for this game because I'm just going to sit back, have a nice lukewarm beer next to me, and just soak this puppy in because it's a win-win. It's a win-win. And I'm sure Dose and Baz will be the same way watching the Vikings Bears because, I mean, Lions lose, the champs go down. Packers lose, Packers lose. And there's nothing better than that. So it's going to be a fun-ass game. I think it's going to be a great game. And Nick kind of covered a lot of it, but like, a lot of questions going into this game. I mean, Packers fans very confident, especially after the Micah Parsons. Lions fans, reigning champs, very confident. Are they gonna get the North again? So it's gonna be fun as hell. Some of the biggest things I'm looking forward to watching. I mean, obviously Micah Parsons. I mean, for Micah Parsons' sake, I hope the dude. I mean, for his sake, he needs to get out there and get like 3 sacks. He gets shut down. He's in limited snaps, man. I can't even imagine what Packer world will be and everybody pounding on those guys. But Jordan Love, say he's healthy. I mean, there was excuses last year. I mean, Jordan Love, expectations are high. He should be out there ripping it up. I want to see their brand new wide receiver out there. I'm looking forward to seeing him. Did the Packers, other receivers learn how to catch in the offseason? But one of the big things for the Lions is Hutchinson. Micah Parsons is going to get all the talk. I mean, Hutchinson, he's going to be coming out with fire coming out of his ass. I mean, I think this dude is going to have a big ass game on Sunday. So he's going to be in the background because Mike is getting all the love. But and Nick said it, the play calling defensively, I think the Lions will be fine. But offensively, how different is it going to be? Is it going to be different? I also got to look out for my boy Marcus Davenport. Dude's actually healthy. I mean, he's actually going to play, I think. So that's a big win for Dose right there. I mean, I'm actually rooting for this guy. But when it comes down to the game itself, like defensive lines, looking forward to see these guys go at it. The battle of the running game is going to be huge. Who's going to win that? They both have a fantastic run game. How is Kenny Clark not being out there going to affect it? Is it going to affect them? But really, when it comes to the game itself, I think it's the quarterbacks. Like, who has the least mistakes at quarterback? Is Jordan Love going to go out there and tear it up right out of the gates? How is Jared Goff's game going to be with the new coordinator? I mean, I really do think this is going to be a very close game. I think it comes down to that one turnover. I think it comes down to that 1 4th down that they go for and they don't get. It's going to be fun as hell. The only other thing is the Lions receivers going against that Packers cornerback room. I know Baz is fairly confident against those corners, but I got to see it and see what they do because on paper, it doesn't look great. But when you got Gary, you got Parsons coming at the quarterback, maybe it doesn't matter. So we'll see. But run game. It's going to be a fun as hell game to watch. I can't wait. A lot of questions, just like the Vikings Bears game. A lot of questions going into that one. It's going to be a fun week. It's going to be a close game.
All right, let's bring in one of the members who are actually representative of the teams in this game. Dose, I'm going to go to you first. A lot happening. These guys mentioned it, talking about both new coordinators. I'm sure there's a lot of curiosity on your part as well. How does Tesla fit in? I think that's going to be fun to watch. You've got a myriad of good receivers there going against a questionable secondary for sure. But what are some of the things that you're looking forward to? Give me some analysis on this game as to what you expect as well.
Yeah, I think one bar pick up right where he left off. I think one bar is exactly right. I think that the hype is the passing game, and it will be with Matthew Golden. I think it'll be out there on third down. It'll be like, does he win one-on-one in those spots? But for me, it does start with the run game, just 100% in this game specifically because of how much two back looks Green Bay is going to throw out there, assuming they did what they did last year. And then for the Lions, it felt like every time we played Green Bay, it was super heavy personnel. A lot of 12, some 13. It's like, we're going to run the ball. We're going to have multiple tight ends on the field. And they also pass out of that too. It's like they use that to try to get more backers on the field. Now, Edgerrin Cooper's a handful. I expect him to be out there all the time. So it'll be everybody outside of Edgerrin Cooper because I expect him to be a dog no matter what's going on. But I think that is where it ultimately has to start here. Now, when it comes to the battle on both sides, it is a lot of newness. Like for the Packers to have Banks in there now at guard and now sliding Jenkins to center. And I thought last time we played him, I thought we did pretty well against Jenkins, but now pushing him to center, like that interior battle. And now for the Lions, Noah Leem, who was pretty darn good last time they played this team. So now it's Tyleek thrown into that mix. So there's a lot of newness really on both sides for us. Our interior offensive line is completely flipped. Now the Packers take Kenny Clark, who just like for the Bears and Vikings, I'm sure he was a handful for us too. Now he's out of the mix. So now it's young guys there. It's Devontae White, guys like that. They're hoping they're going to step up. And for us, it's a rookie, a second-year player that played 100 snaps, and it's Graham Glasgow back at center. So like the unknowns are at the most important spots, I feel like, heading into this game, the interior of both sides. Because on the outside of things, last year, like there's a reason the Packers made this trade. There's no doubt. Like last year, you just didn't feel the presence, I thought, as much as you would expect from the Packers on spots. Now, sure, we were able to chip Gary at times in that game, and now it'll be like, oh, are you going to do that on both sides? Can you kind of lean into that? But like even at times it was an obvious pass downs. You didn't feel it as much as you thought you would because they do have some guys on paper. Well, now Mike is seemingly going to change that. And if I'm guessing, my assumption is if he's going to be out there, it'll be primarily every time it's a passing down. Forget the rundowns. We got Van Ness. We got Gary for that. He's going to be out there every time they throw the football. So that'll be kind of that'll be the factor that changes it up on paper. It's like now you got to get the ball just a little bit quicker. So how fast can we get to because there was times we just kind of lived back there last season. So for me, I think the Lions are going to lean into that again, heavy personnel. They're going to try to work on every linebacker that's not Edgerrin Cooper. So I would expect a lot of that, a lot of lateral stuff, sideline to sideline kind of deal. Screens, just movement up front, a lot of tight ends flying around, trying to pick up backers. I expect it to be that. And then on the flip side for me, I think we're going to get pressure. Like I love what the Packers do year after year. They are very consistent in pass pro. Hutchinson obviously changes it. Zadarius was pretty good last time he played Green Bay. He's not here. But my expectation is we're going to be pretty darn good there for week one because Davenport's that dude. I mean, it just is what it is. Like, that's what I was leading up to for all of this. Bass is about to find out. Davenport's a problem. So I think we're going to do pretty well. I thought, honestly, though, for what they are, I thought we did better than you would expect on paper last time we played Green Bay in terms of just being able to get pressure with who's up front. Now, we blitz like crazy, so we try to get a ton of one-on-ones, but just getting pressure there, like I thought, again, we thought we had more success against Allen Jenkins than I would have expected in that game. Now he's going to center. Does that change things? I don't know, but I think we're in a better spot, even without a lean, to begin this season. So ultimately, it's going to start with the trenches first and foremost for me in this one.
All right, Bass, you just heard what Dose had to say about this. What is your analysis on this game? What are you expecting to see on Sunday?
Yeah, all three of you guys summarized this really well. And firstly, I just want to say, like, this is a first Packers home opener in Lambeau of Matt LaFleur's career in 7 years. Like, that's actually insane that we haven't had one. So that's a lot of hype along with getting Micah Parsons in the building. I think the energy is going to be very high, and I think that's very important. The last time we played the Lions, I watched, like, again, I talked about it last week. I watched the quarterback show and how Dan Campbell was pretty much like, hey, we're going into this game and we're going for it on fourth down every single time. And we're going to power the football down the field. And that's exactly what they did. So I think the Packers have to understand that this could happen again, maybe even more considering Ben Johnson isn't there. And I just feel like Dan Campbell might now just go for it even more on fourth down, if that's even possible. I think the Packers are going to have to realize this. And when it's a 3rd and 8, like, don't just sit back and dime or nickel and go, oh, okay, well, they're going to pass here. Like, no, they could 100% run to set up 4th and 2. And that's what happened in that last game. And I think, you guys encapsulated this game wonderfully saying, like, hey, it starts and ends in the trenches because, how are the Packers' new interior offensive linemen going to look with Banks at left guard, Elton at center? I think it should be better than Josh Myers at center last year, who was a horrible run blocker, actually the lowest graded starting center at run blocking. And then obviously stopping Detroit's run game. We talked about it a ton. Kenny Clark, not in the building anymore, but I wouldn't even point at Kenny Clark and go, well, there goes their run defense. I really point at TJ Slayton, who we let walk in free agency. That's a guy who had one of the best run stop rates in the entire NFL last year. So I think a lot of people are looking at Kenny Clark, who hasn't played nose tackle for the Green Bay Packers since early in his career, was slated to go into that spot. That's a concern. But we have guys like Colby Wooden, who's a big question mark, to put on some weight, move to the nose tackle spot. He may start there. Undrafted free agent Nazir Stackhouse, he's a big body that you can just plug in there. Devontae Wyatt playing 3-tech. You got tons of depth at the edge now with Micah Parsons. And I'm also interested to see how many snaps he plays. And Dose, you said, I expect them to, if he's on a snap count, only on passing downs. Well, I actually have a very interesting stat. If Micah Parsons is able to play a full snap count, in terms of pressure rate on first and second down, which is an example, are not passing downs, pure passing downs since 2021, he is by far at number one in the entire NFL at 15.3%. The next highest is Trey Hendrickson at 11.8%. Like it's not even close. So I think it's still important to have him out there in pure running downs or non-passing downs to get after the quarterback, which is huge because Jared Goff last year, when clean, 120 passer rating, when pressured, 74.9, right? If the Packers are going to win on Sunday, they need to make Jared Goff uncomfortable. And that's why I think it's so massive that the Packers went and got Micah Parsons because, the Lions are the reigning NFC North champs. Like the Packers went, okay, how can we become better than the Lions to take back the NFC North? And I think a lot of it stems from what Dion said. It just felt like every time last season when it was important to get after the quarterback, the Packers couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. They were sending 4. They could not get home no matter what. You saw it horribly in the playoffs versus the Eagles. Another thing that's going to be massive on both ends is stopping their play action. The Lions last year were the most team to pass out of play action at 43%, and the Packers utilizing play action. We weren't able to in both Lions games last year due to Jordan Love's not being able to be mobile, which is a big thing that he's able to be mobile again. Hopefully the thumb's all good there. Another thing, man, catch the damn ball. Like last year, like we had so many drops, and you watch the first game versus the Lions, and it was in the rain, and we're going, oh yeah, the Lions don't know how to play outside, yet they caught every damn ball. And the Packers dropped I don't know what the number was that game, but it was terrible. So it's like, go out there and catch the damn ball. There are concerns here. Jaden Reed is allegedly playing through a Jones fracture. I don't know how that's going to work, right? He's our premier slot wide receiver. So if that doesn't work, then what do we rotate to? Do we have more of Tay Wicks in the slot, who's also recovering from a calf injury? He didn't practice most of camp. Do you run Matthew Golden in some slot? He played around 24% snaps out of slot this preseason. I think he can do both. I think it's going to be a heavy dose of Matthew Golden early and often, and I'm all about it because I think he's the one receiver on this team that can become that guy. So I think it's going to be important to get early rapport with him and Jordan Love. And like I said, catch the damn ball, get Tucker Kraft involved more. Seems like he's not involved too much against the Lions. But yeah, I'm interested to see how we do against their pass rush. Like Dion said, I don't know about Davenport. Maybe I'll learn. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I don't. When's the last time he played a regular season game? I don't know.
Oh, last year.
Last year when?
Yeah, just like everybody else.
2002. Thought so. Don't you? Marcus Davenport, 2002.
Like that.
But there is concern. Like obviously you know more about your defensive line than I do, but I feel like it's pretty light down there, and I think the Packers do a good job at establishing the run game early with Josh Jacobs. And I think that's still what it's going to be like it was last year. Catch the damn ball, get after the quarterback, force a turnover or two. That's their key.
Hey, real quick, just to add something, because first off, Slayton was the handful. I'm glad you brought that up because I'm watching last year. 93. Who is this? I'm like, oh, that's Slayton cooking. But also, I wonder a little bit with Mike, if he's able to play that much. I don't know about this week, but as the season goes on, how if they like say someone starts to kind of take a step up a little bit at defensive end, you get a little crafty. If I'm Green Bay, I'd get a little crafty with Micah, especially if I'm willing to blitz. I'd be putting him at off ball because everybody's going to think the same thing. Oh, just run right at him. I would move him around a little bit because now all of a sudden, first, second down, he's getting upfield with Edgerrin. That is like two of the most athletic linebackers you could have in football. That would be a problem.
Dude, so double A gap mug, Micah and Edgerrin. I'm terrified.
Like crazy.
I'm terrified.
Like crazy.
You can run LVN on the edge. You can put LVN at 3-tech. You can do so much random stuff with this defense now. And Hafley has to be in his bag for this game, and that's going to be another huge key.
Halfley led a hell of a defense last year and didn't have any real pure edge rushers. So I'm curious to see what he's able to do with this one. And you're right. I mean, Micah Parsons, he was a linebacker when he first came into the league. A pure linebacker, coverage linebacker, was really, really good. And then they were like, oh, wow, this guy can get after the quarterback and transition. So he can do a lot of things. You can have a lot of fun with a guy like Parsons in that defense. Before we get into our analysis of the next game between the Vikings and the Bears Monday Night Football, we do have a super chat and a new member. So Chris O says, Skull Vikings, Packers, Bears, and Lions are all trash. So thank you for that.
Chris O, baby.
And then another Vikings fan coming in strong, Jake, the Minnesota sports fan, is a new member. We appreciate you, Jake, very, very much. All right, let's get to the analysis of the Vikings at the Bears Monday Night Football. Dose, we're going to go to you first, then Bass. Get your feelings on it. You obviously did a great job breaking down your game, but what are some of the things that you're looking for here? I mean, your game at this point will have ended. You'll either be elated or pissed off, preparing for the show on Wednesday, but you will get to sit back either way and enjoy another division game between these two. What are you expecting to see on Monday Night Football?
Yeah, I'm so pumped for this game. I mean, I kind of wish this was like somehow just make this the Thursday opener, because I want to watch this with no emotion, and I'm gonna have emotion. So we better handle business, that way I can watch this in good spirits. Because if we, you lose, you watch, I don't even want to watch it, and I really want to watch this game. I think it's going to be great. I'm looking for, of course, Chicago on offense. Like, that's everything here, because to me, as much as I thought, like, even when we would play Minnesota, like, okay, maybe it'll look different this time. It never felt like it did. It was like, okay, Minnesota's kind of doing the same thing. I don't think anything's going to change with Minnesota. I think they are. They don't care that it's Ben Johnson, that he's had success against them. I think they're going to be who they are. So the question is, how does Chicago respond to that? Because I've seen Ben Johnson make it work, and I'll keep going back to the same thing, not to be boring, but to me, it does start with, can they run the ball? Because if it gets to 3rd and 6+ consistently, or 2nd and long, I think Minnesota could run away with this thing. Ben Johnson's going to do everything he can to keep it away from that. So let me not even just say run the ball. Throwing the ball in early downs, like getting into spots where we can do whatever we can to hopefully get ahead of the chains. That way, this whole stacking the line of scrimmage thing is just not as much of an issue. And I think for Caleb, it's a really rough start to get dealt this immediately. For him, you have to kind of make it as easy as possible. So maybe that means throwing on 1st and 2nd down and finding their wins there, because they should have them on paper. They have their wins on the outside. They to me, they have the better matchups at receiver than their opposing cornerback. So they should have success in those spots. But that's what I'm looking forward to, is just where is the early down efficiency for this Bears offense, running or passing the football. That's what I'm most locked into, because I think they get into too many 3rd and longs. I just don't think you're going to have enough answers overall in this game. And then, of course, on the flip side, getting McCarthy, getting that first look. Chicago has been one of the most sound defenses consistently, it feels like, up until last season. It was like, what happened there? And for them, defensive line-wise, it was a huge step back this past year. But the emergence of the Vikings was Aaron Jones was cooking, and they started running the football, and I was like, oh, this is a thing now. This is like a huge element to this offense. And I do think that the Bears have a lot of the personnel to deal with the Vikings, especially on the outside. Now, of course, no one really matches up with Jefferson, but I think outside of that, they can give some support. They can try to slow that down. They're going to have backers that I think are going to do pretty well against Hawkinson versus most teams. Even at the back position, I think they'll be okay, linebacker versus running back. The question for them will be run game. Like again, does Minnesota have any success on the ground? And I expect them to. So for me, this is why I have a heavier lean towards Minnesota, because I think I know more so of what I have, and where they invested this offseason was offensive line. And even though it's newness, I tend to buy into what they have on the offensive line. I think that defensive line for Chicago is going to have their hands full, and that's the element. It's like, who's going to rise? Because last year, remember, there was a lot of buzz with Sweat, and then it never really felt like it came together, and the inside was all banged up. Like, who in the world is playing on the inside here? And now this year, right, some of those young guys, it's like, okay, we got to go. We got to take some steps this season. So for me, that whole element is the battle here, and I tend to buy into the Vikings right now on that side of things.
Phenomenal breakdown from Dose. 345 of you watching. If you are enjoying the show, the best thing you can do is hit that like button for us. It's absolutely free. It pushes it out to more people so that we can get this chat jumping. This show is live every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, all through the season. So this is a weekly deal. These guys are fantastic. Bass, same question for you, man. at this point, your game will be over.
Yeah.
Either happy or pissed off preparing for this show on Wednesday. But either way, you get to sit back and enjoy Monday Night Football knowing that your team is not playing and 2 division foes are. How do you see this one?
Yeah, Doze, you made a really good point with staying ahead of the chains, right? I think that's so important here for Chicago. If you get yourself in situations, 3rd and 7 and longer, like what's coming. Flores is going to line up in that cover 0 look. He's going to disguise some things, some simulated pressures here and there, and I just don't know if Caleb's going to be able to process that if he's in that situation and go out and win the game that way, right? When you look at Caleb Williams. Last year under pressure, a quarterback rating of 65.9, right? When he was clean, 95.4, which is obviously part due to his offensive line that they made massive improvements to. So I'm interested to see the continuity down low. Like when you take a look at their offensive line heading into week 1 and you're looking at some PFF grades and how they look, it's a lot of good. Whereas last year you're looking at a lot of spots and you're going like, oof, this is going to be another Bears poor offensive line year. Whereas this year it looks the opposite. And I think it will be pretty good. It's just like, will that continuity be ready to rock against a lot of stunts, a lot of simulated pressures, a lot of unique stuff that Brian Flores does bring? And yeah, it's going to be important for them to be able to run the football. Nick, I'm sure you'll get into it here. But I've been hearing that there's like not many healthy running backs. Like you guys had trainers taking snaps at running back and whatnot. I don't know if this was earlier in the week or whatnot. So, if Swift can't get going or something, do they really have another hand to turn to? And I think that's very, very important. I think last year, when the Bears were able to run the ball well, their offense looked so much better, obviously. And then the games that they were really poor, it's like, yeah, they had pretty much no run game. And for this game, it's a little hard to break it down because it's like we have a new quarterback in Minnesota, we have an entire new staff for Chicago. It's a lot of new, but one thing that is the same is this Minnesota defense, that tried and true Brian Flores led defense that I feel like you can put your trust in, especially against a quarterback like Caleb Williams. If you pressure him, fluster him, I think that's where the Vikings can come away with this one. But overall, I think it's going to be a very interesting game. I think it's going to be a close game, as all division games are. I'm hoping I'm watching this one like Dion said, happy rather than frustrated. Because if I'm frustrated, I probably will tune out of this one or won't watch it and just check in on it after that, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. And what the Vikings also have for their case here is it's week 1. So like Aaron Jones, he's healthy, I think, right? He didn't get hurt at all in camp.
Healthiest he's ever been in his life.
All right, then we're good. Then yeah, like if Aaron Jones, obviously I know Aaron Jones, when he's fully healthy, like he's cooking. And if Aaron Jones is cooking, like that's good for your offense. That's good for a new quarterback. So if Aaron Jones is cooking and Brian Flores is doing what he does, that's why I also lean Minnesota.
If Aaron Jones is healthy and cooking, well, what about JP Mason, my dog from the 49ers? One bar, I got to get your analysis on this game. What are some of the things that you're looking forward to? What do you expect from JJ McCarthy? And talk to me about my guy, JP Mason, please.
Yeah, I mean, you asked about a NFC North game week 1. What's even worse than that is to plop that puppy on Monday night. I mean, talk about, I'm not going to fall asleep Monday. Monday is just a wash. Tuesday is going to suck ass. Regardless, win or lose, I'm going to be up all damn night stewing about this game. But Baz, you nailed it. And Dion, you touched on it. Like, I'm hearing words like just, we don't know what to expect. It's going to be an interesting game. And it's fair. Like, this is the biggest question mark of a game when I look at the schedule for week 1. And Vikings, it's easy. Why is it a big question mark? It's JJ McCarthy. I mean, that's just simple. When you look at the Bears, I mean, you look at the Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams. Is he actually gonna show why he was the number 1 overall pick? There's so many questions going into this game, which has given me just heartburn. Like I do not know what to expect in this game, and it's scary and it's exciting at the same time. Baz, you killed it, because the biggest thing for the Vikings is we got to make Caleb Williams uncomfortable, because under pressure the dude sucks. We got to do it. And really, Brian Flores, if he can't manage that, then shame on him, because rumor has it Braxton Jones is starting left tackle, and Jonathan Grenard is going to be making him look silly all damn game. If Grenard doesn't have 2 sacks in week 1, it's a complete failure in my mind. But to me, we got to talk JJ McCarthy. Like, for JJ McCarthy to come out Monday night against an NFC North rival when the dude has played 2 quarters of preseason NFL football in his career. Like this is not ideal situation. It's going to be fun to watch. We're all going to be very excited to see, but like this isn't going to be the McCarthy coming out party, I don't think. And if it is, something's gone wrong because we need to pound the hell out of the ball. If McCarthy ends up with a stat line of like 150 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, I am completely fine with that. Like run the damn ball. Last year, Bears, you could run the ball on them. And this year, Aaron Jones healthy. Jordan Mason, who really in Vikings land and myself included, I think Jordan Mason ends up having a bigger game. I said this before on the show I think he ends up having a bigger season, at least stat wise, for the Vikings this year. I think he is going to be that tough ass runner, especially a game like this where McCarthy, like I said, perfect situation, pounding the ball, set up the play action. TJ Hawkinson, let's go. Justin Jefferson, he doesn't need to come out and have a huge game. One big play, absolutely, we'll take it. But weirdly, the Bears have actually done well against Jefferson the last couple of games. But McCarthy, we can't put it in his hands to win this thing. I think it's asking too much. I just saw an article came out, it was yesterday, the day before, about all the rookies, their first game last year and what they did, Jaden Daniels, all those guys, and it was absolutely horrific, and it scared the living hell out of me. So the defense needs to win this game. The running backs need to absolutely just pound the ball, eat up some clock, but defensively, going over there, I mean, like I said, Grenard, Van Ginkel was back out today. He's not been practicing, so it was good to see him. The concerns defensively, I'm very curious, those Bears tight ends, how they do against the Vikings. The tight ends have been known to eat up against the Vikings, so that is definitely a concern. If Caleb isn't under pressure and he has time, I mean, we got Byron Murphy, who's an absolute stud, but we also have Isaiah Rodgers, which is a question mark. We have Jeff freaking Okudah, which is a big ass question mark. And then as our safety room, Harrison Smith hasn't practiced in about a month. There's something going on there. They're saying it's just a personal health issue. No idea what's up. Hopefully that is all good. He was in walkthroughs today, but didn't practice. So to me, it's a big question mark if he's even out there. If he's not, we got Theo Jackson. That is a big, big concern if Theo Jackson out there, a very unproven guy. So we will see. I'm not scared of the Bears run game, but they definitely have some weapons. Ben Johnson, I want to see, like, did he eat some of that Dan Campbell shit? Is he going to be going for it on every damn 4th down? What's going to be going on there? It's going to be a fun game. I'm not going to say I'm feeling overconfident going into this just because the Bears, all the moves they made, offensive line, they got some weapons. I'm not going to go into this thing thinking, just sitting back like this, like, oh, hell yeah, we got this. On the road, NFC North rival. It's going to be a fun game. And JJ McCarthy, hot damn. I mean, you couldn't ask for I wish he was playing at noon. I wish he was playing against the Browns and it was just buried on television, because the last thing I'll end with is this will be an overreaction game. If McCarthy goes out and they lose on the road to the Bears, everyone's, the guy's a bust. This is his first start. Caleb Williams goes out and just sucks ass. Oh, God, he's the same old guy. Ben Johnson didn't save him. He sucks. So it's going to be fun regardless, but I will not sleep Monday night.
Yeah, this is going to be a great game. I think there's so much change that has happened within this division. Every team has something to be excited about, but I would say the Bears have the most to be excited about, or at least the most anticipation. It's like, what is Caleb Williams? We got him first overall, struggled a bit last year. Is it as simple as the coaching staff? Well, you get a whole new coaching staff. You revamp the offensive line. Everything is changing over in Chicago. There's a lot of excitement around this team, a lot of buzz from this fan base. You guys have been craving a playoff team for quite some time. So, Nick, talk to me about this game, how excited you are, and the things that you are looking forward to Monday night.
I am ecstatic about this game. The city of Chicago is just buzzing right now. You walk around, people are actually proud to be wearing Bears gear again. People are talking about the Bears constantly. Like when I'm at my 9 to 5, when I'm at corporate jail, or when I'm walking to the train or I'm on the train, it's just like everyone is like, man, are you watching the game Monday night? I just wish the Bears were playing sooner. I just want to see what Ben Johnson can do. So the city is electric and excited about, which I'm pumped about. What I'm most looking forward to in this game is, I think, is a reoccurring theme, and I'm going to sound like a broken record, but can Ben Johnson really get this thing going? Is he going to bring that Detroit style coaching with his own spin on it? Is he going to go out and make this offense look legitimate? Is he going to make Caleb Williams, boom in his second year with a good relationship and overall play calling? So I heard a lot of questions. I heard a lot of things that the guys were saying. So I'm here to answer all of them. I actually literally right before this dropped a video about all these questions. So good news is Jalen Johnson is back. He's practicing today. He'll be covering Justin Jefferson. So that's good news for the Bears secondary. Bears also have Jaquan Brisker back. He was practicing today after leaving last week with an injury. Wasn't reported. Bears get him back. So the secondary has all their starters: Kyler Gordon, Kevin Byard, Jaquan Brisker, Tyreek Stevenson, and Jalen Johnson, all out there good to go. From a running back room perspective, yes, Baz, you are right. We did have trainers running through drills. In fact, we actually had even tight ends running as running backs at one point just for fun. But the Bears got Kyle Monangai back today, our 7th round pick out of Rutgers, who had a really nice preseason until he suffered his leg injury. He is back, though, 100%, and is expected to play against the Vikings. So the Bears get a huge boost in the running back room, which is obviously a key win. So defense looking a lot stronger, and then the offense looking a lot stronger. That said, Rashawn Johnson still questionable. TJ Edwards still questionable. Josh Blackwell, our best special teamer, still questionable. So the Bears have some factors going into this game, but what's big for me is the entire offensive line is healthy. We spent over $50 million on the interior offensive line and Drew Dahlman, Joe Tooney, and Jonah Jackson. That's big for Caleb Williams, who was sacked 68 times last year. Darnell Wright's looking good and healthy, and Braxton Jones is the winner of the left tackle position. Was I a fan of it? To be honest, no, I really wasn't. But at the end of the day, he is the veteran of that group. Hopefully, Dan Rochar, who I trust has produced multiple Pro Bowl offensive linemen, multiple All-Pro offensive linemen, can make trust that Braxton Jones is that guy. It was between two other technically another rookie, a guy that was in injured reserve last year, and Theo Benedict, and then Ozzie Trapillo. So the offensive line, I'm feeling good about. One Bar said it. Super excited about the tight end room, especially Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland. If those two can work in Ben Johnson's style of offense, watch out. It's going to be a lot of fun for this Bears offense, and it's going to help get everyone else open. Luther Burden, Roma Dunze, Amalete Zaccheaus, DJ Moore. Our room looks really solid. So the Bears offense is definitely better than last year. And Ben Johnson has a lot of weapons, but at the end of the day, can he execute? He's going to have his first game jitters as a head coach. He's going to be excited, but I'm really confident in him that he's going to be able to get the job done. Not only that, too, is that going to the defensive side of the ball, like I was kind of saying, almost everyone's healthy, and my biggest concern is Justin Jefferson. That's where we're healthy again. Our defensive secondary, who's done really well at holding Jefferson compared to other teams, has done a really good job, and we have everybody out there. From a run-stopping perspective, Bears got Grady Jarrett. They have Dennis Allen as the defensive coordinator. A lot of people are hating on Dio, the new defensive edge that we brought in, who still had 49 pressures last year, so he gets after the quarterback. But the front defensive line's looking really good. The Bears' overall defense is healthy. So far, we get the first injury report tomorrow. But I'm excited for tomorrow. I think it's going to be a great game. What does make me nervous is what can J.J. McCarthy do? We don't know what he can do. And One Bar said it's either going to be an overreaction where if he stinks, it's going to be like, what are we doing here? Or if he does really well, it's like, oh, crap. Like now we have another quarterback to deal with in the NFC North. So I'm nervous because no one knows what he can do. He's technically a rookie. It's going to be his first game out there. Also, Aaron Jones being healthy. That guy has had some huge games against the Bears as a member of the Packers and as the Vikings. Justin Jefferson still be a problem. And that, Brian Flores defense. I mean, the number one pressure defense in the NFL. Caleb Williams talked about it today in his press conference, saying that we got to be ready to go. Box one-on-one. He brings a lot of blitz, a lot of motions. I couldn't agree with him more. That's going to be the big factor in this one. But my favorite part about this entire thing is how confident Ben Johnson is walking into this game, because he said there are no excuses why we can't win now. So that got me all pumped up about today. So I can't wait for Monday night. I hate that it's on Monday night, and I'm like, One Bar, win or lose, I'm not sleeping that whole evening. So it's going to be a fun, exciting game for sure. And yes, I'm going to be the lone guy, of course, choosing the Bears to win this one.
All right. I cannot wait to get the score. We just went 40 minutes of hard-hitting analysis from these four. Fantastic job. Didn't even give one score prediction yet. That is coming next. But first, I got to say, before we get to our sponsor, fight back, chat. Sarah's in there dog walking all of you right now. So, you might want to step your game up. She is out of control. It's hilarious to watch. All right, let's talk about Sleeper, the #1 fantasy app, pick'em app, and it's skill-based, which means you can win real cold hard cash. Use promo code RTS for a 100% deposit match of up to $100. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to both games. We are going to I'm going to let each one of you pick someone from your team to go more or less with them. But first, we're going to take this freebie because Joe Burrow passing for, a half a passing yard. Yeah, we need that in our life. So we're going to take that one free win here. And you guys, if you sign up using promo code RTS, get that 100% deposit match up to $100. You too can get your free play. All right, let's see. Detroit and Green Bay. Dose, I'll start with you, brother. What do you see in here, man? There's some juicy ones. You can go anytime TD. Jahmyr Gibbs. I did see somebody in the chat earlier say that Jahmyr Gibbs was going to get 2 TDs. So I believe they're going to be playing and they're going to be picking Jahmyr Gibbs on the more here. What about Amon-Ra St. Brown, anytime TD, Montgomery, JMO with 50.5 receiving yards. What are you seeing here? Which one do you want to go with, brother?
I want to go Sam Laporta. Give me the more on 0.5 touchdowns. That's what I'm feeling.
Okay, I like this. I like. Okay, now let me be clear. This is my personal account.
Okay.
I'm spending my own personal money.
Okay,
so
good.
you guys have got to get winners for me. All right. So let's be clear about that. All right, Bass, no pressure, man. But same thing for you. Anytime TD, you can go more or less on that for Jacobs. Golden in his debut, only 46.5 receiving yards.
More. Cooking Terry and Arnold all day. Let's go.
Oh,
more.
Okay.
And
all
Terry
right,
Arnold's gonna be holding on for dear life like it was all last year against every other receiver. He's got like 4 holding calls.
He's about to find DJ Reed. That's what he's about to see. You can't even see DJ Reed. He's too short.
I'm not even going to backtrack and say I wanted DJ Reed all off season. Guy's trash. I totally didn't want him all off season.
There we go. I love this. Love this. All right, Nick, let's go to you, man. Let's look at Chicago. Oh, we got a discount here. This one. Okay. This one might be
great.
Too good.
That's
Caleb Williams is on discount, everybody.
179.5 passing yards.
Pound it.
You got to go the more, right?
Pound it.
Oh no, I can't do it. You're right. There's basically 2 of them. We're already getting the free slot, so we can't take the discount one. So we got Loveland at 27.5, Swift at 14.5 receiving yards. That one's interesting.
Pound it.
Pound it.
Yep.
All
pound
right.
it.
It's like their only running back. This is
Nice.
Not only that, but they his only times out there in the preseason, he had 25 receiving yards off 3 catches. So yes, pound it.
All right, I love this. 1 bar. We got JJ at more or less on the anytime TD. We can go that route. Aaron Jones, same thing. Actually, that one's a discount, so we can't do that one. JJ McCarthy. Now, you said you would be happy with 150 yards, a touchdown, and an interception as long as they win. Does that mean you think that less 225 is the way to go here? Or
hey, don't get me wrong. I'd love to be pleasantly surprised and they come out and just chuck that thing all over the field and he gets 350 yards. We haven't seen it. We haven't seen it. So I would probably take the under on that. But I will go. You got to give Jefferson the tutty up top.
Okay.
Like week 1, prime time, baby. There's no way in hell. If I'm JJ McCarthy, I'm looking at that dude every single time. So we got to go for that. I do love how they have Thielen at a nice 34 yards. So wow, respect, baby.
Yeah, that's respect. All right,
old man. So yeah, Jefferson 0.5.
Well, I will say I approve of the picks. This is something that I can get with it. We got 27x. I approve of them, but again, it's my own money. I'm only putting $1 down. I'm sorry. Listen, I got to do what I got to do here. I do believe in you, but I just, whatever. I'll take the free $27 is the way it's going to happen. So that's what we got. $27 on the line. We're only putting $1 down. You too can have a lot of fun. It is very skill based and fantasy football. All my drafts are now through Sleeper. Absolutely love it. So definitely check them out. All right. One more for you. Let me turn this guy off here and we'll get you a screen share on the perfect tandem app to go with your Sleeper. So let me get this going for you. All right, RotoWire. We've been talking about them all off season. Some of you are very lazy, probably are doing fantasy football drafts tonight. And if you are doing so, make sure that you use RotoWire promo code RTS for 15% off. You can attach this baby to your sleeper league and you can draft your little heart out through mock drafts. And you can also get the draft assistant. It's real-time analysis during your draft to create the perfect team and dominate the season. For me, that's how I use this thing. I hook it up to my app on Sleeper. I also have a league through ESPN and Yahoo. I'm kind of a degenerate, to be honest with you, when it comes to fantasy football. So everywhere that I have leagues, I can hook this baby up to it, make sure that I'm fully prepared, win the draft. It is by far the best tandem fantasy football app out there. And it's not only good for just the draft, you can use it all year long. It will definitely help you as far as who to play, who not to play. It's always tough because you've got those receivers or those running backs that are close, depending on matchups you like to play. So take the guesswork out of it. Let RotoWire win the league for you. Promo code RTS, 15% off, and you too can dominate. All right. Let's get into it, fellas. We've done all of the analysis. Now we need some score predictions. So we're going to head back to Lions versus Packers. We're going to start with Nick on this one. Give me a score, who wins, and what is the reason for it?
I got Green Bay winning this one. I bet no one was expecting me to say that because I've never chosen Green Bay. That being said, I think it's going to be close, but Detroit losing both coordinators, I think this is a big change for both Campbell and the entire Lions offense and defense. I got this one 17-14 Green Bay winning on a field goal.
Whoa, okay. Wow, I didn't expect that one. All right.
I saw Baz write it down.
Yeah,
I like it.
Damn it, Baz, you in that notebook.
It's back, baby, by the way. We got a black one this year. All right.
Old school, man.
You guys are receipt keepers. I absolutely love this. All right, one bar. Well, listen, we've got one pick for the Packers. Who wins this game? What's the score? And why is it such?
So I got the Lions winning 28-24. I think this is going to be a back and forth the whole damn time. But the only reason I got the Lions, I think the Lions are going to run the piss out of this thing, and I think they're going to be fairly successful at it. So the ground game alone, and Lions, I mean, I think if I remember right, they've owned Lambeau for the last, was it 3 or 4 games? So obviously a lot of question marks still around both these teams. But Hutchinson, Parsons, they're going to put on a show. But in the end, Lions 28-24.
Wow. Okay. We got the split. I imagine we're going to end in a split here, and this is going to be a lot of fun. Dose. Lions are obviously involved in this one, playing fastest Packers. There's no way you can pick the Packers after the way that you dog walked them last week into a 7-win season, and now you're giving them a whole 9 based off of Parsons here. So I've got to imagine you're probably picking your Lions to not only win this game, but when they match up later in the season, I'm assuming that's going to be the case once again. But what is the score and how do they get it done?
Yeah, man, look, we take it week by week. All right, we did game by game. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. All right, yeah, I thought I was being respectful, honestly. I gave above the 9 wins. That's a good season. That's a winning season. I am going to go with the Lions win here. I'm going to go. So I actually am with Nick on this one a little bit more, though. I think it is going to be lower scoring as of now. So I'm going to go 23-14. I think the defenses rule the day on both sides. I think that's what it comes down to. And maybe it starts kind of hot. Maybe both teams jump out, score, and then I think it just settles off. So 23-14.
23-14. All right, Bass, time to fight back, man. I'm assuming you're taking your Packers. What's the score and why?
I mean, if I didn't take them after making that trade for Parsons, that'd be a travesty. And if they don't like win this game, honestly, it's just going to be a massive disappointment. It's not going to, solidify the season by any means. We're talking about week 1 here, but with all the hype going into Green Bay, home opener, traded for Micah Parsons, like there should be very, very high energy. And I think the Packers should be able to start fast with that and create a turnover. So I think it's going to come down to who wins the turnover battle. I think the Packers can do that. We saw how many interceptions they had early last year. Now you had Micah Parsons in the mix. Jared Goff under pressure can give you the football. He can turn it over. So I got the Packers 28-24.
Ooh. All right. We got a split by the panelists on this one. Let's see if we have a split on the next one. We got the Vikings, Bears, Monday Night Football. Dose, I'm coming back to you, brother. What is the score of this game and why is it that way?
Yeah, give me some fireworks this game, man. I'm gonna lead Minnesota still, but I think we're gonna get a lot of points, man. I think this one's gonna be fun. I'm gonna go 34-31. Minnesota wins it.
34-31. Why do you think it's going to be so high scoring with two young quarterbacks in this one against some pretty good defenses?
Yeah, I think Ben's gonna have a really good plan. I think he's gonna have a really good plan for him. I just don't know that they're gonna have enough, but I think he's gonna have a great plan. So they're gonna put up a lot of points, and I think Minnesota's gonna get out hot. Like I don't think Minnesota's gonna come out slow with McCarthy. I think they're gonna come out rolling. I think they're gonna run the ball well. I think they're gonna give that defense some problems this week with that offensive line.
Interesting. Okay, I got to be honest. I didn't expect you to say that high score of a game with two younger quarterbacks against these defenses, but you never know, man. And JJ McCarthy, listen, he hasn't taken a snap, but I kind of feel like he might be the real deal. We'll see. But Bass, what do you think about this one? What's the score and why is it that way?
Yeah, not as high as a score as Dion here. For the reasons you mentioned, two younger quarterbacks. I like both defenses, but overall, like I said, I'm still gonna trust what Flores has in store for the Bears, Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. So for that, I'm going 21-17 Minnesota.
21-17 Minnesota. All right, one bar. You've heard it. Both guys are picking the Vikings. We're not going to have a split on this one because I know that you're picking the Vikings as well, and that's fantastic. But why? What is going to be the difference in this game? And then also, what is your score prediction?
Well, damn. I mean, Dion, if it ends up being that score, it's going to be a crazy ass night. I actually have it low scoring. I'm probably coming off like I'm not a McCarthy. I'm all in on McCarthy. I think he's going to be very, very good. But for this game alone, I think it's going to be all Brian Flores. It's going to be all defense. It's going to be all running the hell out of the ball. If I'm completely wrong and they come out chucking that thing 35 times, let's go, baby. I'm all here for it. But I think they're going to rely on the guys that they know can get the job done, get it done. And that's why I think it'll actually be kind of low scoring. I got 20-17 and mostly defense, mostly running the hell out of it. And they just bring McCarthy on gradually and see what happens. But this is such a big ass game. I mean, I hate to say it, week one is a must win, and it's not a must win, but for the momentum itself for McCarthy, he's got to get this thing. We got to get the dub in Chicago. Boom.
All right, Nick, man, I don't, you're going to be out on an island on this one. All three of them picking the Vikings. This right here, Nick, has revenge written all over it. You can come in and strut your stuff next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, if you are the only one to get this right. I see you taking notes, not happy about it, but brother, what is the score of this game and why do the Bears get it done?
28-10 Bears.
That's gross.
I think that JJ McCarthy's in for a long day. I think that Dennis Allen is going to bring the heat on him. The fact that we have Jalen Johnson back, that defense is going to shut down the offense, and the Bears offense is going to be cooking. I also have a defensive pick six coming in because JJ McCarthy is going to make a mistake. He's a rookie. 28-10 Bears. Bears walk out 1-0 and enter Detroit at 1-0.
The confidence. I mean, all three panelists pick against your team, and you just said, I don't care. 28-10. I've already seen it happen. This is fantastic. Guys, this was an amazing show. If this is any indication of what we can look forward to all season long, man, get ready. Make sure you guys hit the like buttons, you subscribe, because this is going to be every week, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Much love to each one of you. For Dose, One Bar, Bass, and Nick, I'm your host, Jesse. We'll be back next week. Week one, baby. Here we go. Peace.